Hello class, welcome to Pre-Algebra Lesson 6.1, which is all about simplifying algebraic expressions. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to simplify algebraic expressions by combining like terms and using the distributive property. All right, so let's practice sorting terms by writing the like terms in the appropriate bins. Okay, so you can see here I have 4x squared, so that means I'm looking for anything, with an x squared to put in this bin. So 5 doesn't have an x squared, 8x doesn't. The negative 9x squared would match, so I'd put that in the box. This one doesn't have an x squared, no x squared. This has an x squared, so that would go in the box. And that would be it. Then this next one, I have negative 2x. Okay, so I'm looking for anything with an x. So 5 doesn't have an x, but 8x has an x, 6x, and negative 1.5x. Okay, so I'm kind of going a little quickly through this because we've already spent a couple of days on this idea. Okay, so then I have regular 3 here, so that means any other just regular numbers are gonna go in this bin, just like that. Okay, so remember, like terms are terms that have the same variable with the same exponent. Okay, so like here, these all have an x and they all have a squared. These all have an x, and then these don't have a variable, so they all get grouped together. So now we're going to practice simplifying the expressions below. Okay, so I'm going to switch to a pen. All right, so if I look at this, I have 4x minus 5 plus 10. So looking at those 3 terms, right, I have 4x. I'm going to read this as basically a negative 5. You take whatever sign's in front of it. So negative 5 and then positive 10. If I put a negative 5 and a positive 10 together, I'm left with just a positive 5. And it's positive because 10 is the bigger number and it's positive. So then my answer here would just be 4x plus 5. I don't put that 4x and that 5 together because 4 has an x and the 5 doesn't. So we leave them separate. I often see students combine that into 9x because they feel like they have to have just one thing as their final answer, but you actually need to keep those two things separate. All right, let's look over here. I see a lot of y's. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of highlight all of the things with y's so we can look at all of them together. All right, so I have negative 7y, negative 4y, and a negative y. Okay, so I see they're all negatives, so I know when I combine them, it's going to be negative. So now what I can do is just add them together since they all have the same sign. So 7 plus 4 would be 11. And then sometimes students forget that there's this invisible 1 right here. If there wasn't a 1 there, if it was a 0, there wouldn't be a y there. Okay, so since there is a y there, we assume there's a 1 in front of that y. So 1 kind of is sneaky. It has invisibility powers. So again, 7 plus 4 is 11, plus 1 would be 12. Y. Okay, now I'm going to maybe make it a little easier. All right, I have a positive 13 and a negative 3. Okay, so positive 13 and then negative 3 can be read as minus 3. Okay, so 13 minus 3 would be plus a positive 10. So that would be the final answer. Okay, if you have questions about either of those questions, please be sure to raise your hand, ask for some help. I'm happy to help you. Now I want you to simplify this expression. Good luck. All right, for this answer, hopefully you got 4w minus 4. If you just said 3w, it's because you forgot about the invisible 1 here. And then if you said minus 12, the reason that's not right is this is a negative 8 and a positive 4. So you would say negative 8 plus 4 would be a negative 4. All right, let's continue practicing combining like terms. So if I look at this problem, I see I have a negative 5x and nothing else with an x. So I'm just going to copy that down into my answer right away. And then I'm going to move on to the next thing. I have a positive y here, which there's no number in front of the y, so it's a 1. And then I have a negative 5y. So what's 1y minus 5y? That would be negative 4y. All right, and then I have a positive 6 and a negative 3. So 6 minus 3 would be plus 3. And that would be my final answer. Okay, if you have questions about that, please raise your hand, ask for some help. I'm happy to help you. Otherwise, I want you to try this problem on your own. Good luck. All right, for this problem, hopefully you ended up at 4 plus 5w minus 10z. Oh, man, you guys, I'm so tired. I'm sorry I keep yawning. All right, so we have negative 5 plus 9 gives you a positive 4. Negative 3 plus 8 gives you 5w. Negative 6 minus 4 gives you negative 10z. Okay, if you have questions about that, ask for some help. Happy to help you. Let's move on to example 3. So now we're going to talk about the distributive property to expand an expression, okay? So what expanding an expression means is you rewrite it like this. So you'd say 4 times this first term here. So 4 times negative 3x, and then 4 times the second term, 4 times 6. Okay, so when you are asked to expand an expression, that means that they want you to write it like this first and then move on to simplifying. So 4 times negative 3 is negative 12x, and then 4 times 6 is 24. So your final answer is negative 12x plus 24. Okay, so as you practice the distributive property distribution, you are going to get better and better, and that means that you'll be able to go from this to this. That means that as you get better, you'll get to skip this middle step because you're just going to be doing that in your brain. However, I recognize that sometimes writing is really tough for some of you, so instead of rewriting like this, if you would like to use the arrow method to show me that you know you're multiplying, I'm okay with that. Okay, so you can either do arrows or you can rewrite it like this. That's your choice, but you need to do one of them. Okay, you have to show your work. That's your way of showing your work. And then you end at your final answer. All right, so I want you to do this problem. So I want you to get to that final answer, but I want you to show either your arrows or writing it out as an expanded form first before you get to that final answer. Good luck. All right, for this problem, hopefully you ended up with an answer that looks something like this. Either you used your arrows to get to here or you expanded to get to here. But your final answer, no matter whether you did arrows or the expansion, should have been negative 45a plus 27b. All right, now let's practice distributing with subtraction. Okay, so it honestly functions the same way. And this one looks a little different because instead of having the number up front, it's behind, which is totally fine, works the same way. You're going to multiply and multiply. Okay, so I can either rewrite this as negative 2x times 3 minus 5y times 3. Or I can just do the arrow method. So 3 times negative 2x is negative 6x minus, and then 3 times 5y is 15y. So those are that is my answer. And the arrows are the expansion. Again, it's your choice. I want you to try this one on your own. Good luck. All right, for this one, hopefully you ended up at negative 20w minus 35. If that's not what you got and you're confused on how I got there, please be sure to ask for some help. I'm happy to help you. And let's move on to our last example. So now we're going to use the distributive property to distribute a negative. So I have negative 5 times 2x would be negative 10x. And then I have negative 5 times a negative 9. So negative times negative becomes positive, and 5 times 9 is 45. Okay, and if you wanted to expand it out, you would do something like this. Okay. Now, the last problem is for you to do on your own. Good luck. All right, for this answer, hopefully you said 48y minus 60. You said negative times negative was positive. 6 times 8 is 48, and you have the y there. And then negative 6 times a positive 10 is negative 60. So 48y minus 60. If you have questions about this problem or anything else from the video at all, please be sure to ask for some help. I am happy to help you. Have a great day.